right, Moses, how are you doing today?
I'm blessed. I'm doing amazing.
Amen. Being a Ghanaian, right, and working with and helping diasporan, did you always feel or know that that would be something that you would do?
Um, that's a very good question. No, I never dreamt of, working with diasporans. I never dreamt of it. Just, going about my normal life, and then it kind of met me on the way. And so, yes, I never ever in my life kind of dreamt about it. Like a time will come that I'm going to be working with, diasporans. So, yeah, I never thought about that.
Awesome. And so, how does it? Is it? Do you find it a fulfilling job? Like, how do you feel working with diasporan?
Um, Oh, family. The questions are coming in, but I told you I was going to give my sincere answer. And so, it's been fun so far. It's been great because, there's a lot of expertise on board in terms of, it's been a learning experience too for me. But sometimes it's a little challenging, marrying the cultures together, the personality culture, the business culture, both parties have different experiences altogether, different cultures, different perspective about things altogether. And so they are a little challenging. Of course, there will be times where, one said yay and the other said nay, but overall, I think it's been a learning experience. It's been a very exciting journey. A little push here, a little push there from both sides. By the time you kind of sit down and analyze to come to kind of think in broad perspective to kind of put everything that is being said on the table in terms of decision, in terms of why the other party want this done this way, or why this person want this done this way, kind of broaden your perspective in terms of business and in terms of the topic on the table. So it's been a learning journey, learning experience for me. It's fun. Trust me when I say it's fun. It's fun. In business, it's not always going to be that smooth. There are times for hard talking, hard hitting questions, hard hitting discussions and decisions. But then it's part of the growth process. And so, yes, it's been amazing. Like I said, the lot of expertise that they have, time consciousness, one, critical analysis of things, very key. Broader perspective, and so it's been an amazing journey, and I've enjoyed it so far. So good.
All right. And so my next question, Moses, is because the diaspora's journey back to the continent is one that is filled with emotion because we understand the process and the journey. How do you ground yourself so that that emotional roller coaster or that transition doesn't really affect you and your perspective on the people that you're helping?
Yo, family, these are very good questions. For me, one of the best things that happened to me was when I came out of university and I started to do business. One of the best things that happened to me for those moments was encountering a man who kind of recommended a book for me that I read. It's called Emotional Intelligence. And that really helped me a lot. And so, like, the question is, the diaspora journey here to the continent and to Ghana for that matter is a whole emotional one. It's one based on faith because think about it, leaving everything that you have lived for, everything that you have built, leaving everything behind to come into a whole new continent, a whole new country, to start everything all over again in an area where you're not used to how things work. You're not used to how operations are done. You're not used to the food. You're not even used to the culture, even the language. So there are a lot of barriers, like 340% barriers that facing, and every single day, as the diaspora keep meeting this challenge, it becomes frustrating. Sometimes it becomes a bit emotional, but you see, what the Most High has established. as far as, he knew that I was going to, somehow find my way among, his children that he's going to be bringing back. It's like I said, I am not perfect. I have my moment. I'm like, you know, that's the human aspect of me. But the good news is, with all that, each one of us kind of have something, some unique quality within us that kind of, keep us going. At the end of the day, that kind of makes me overlook and not look at the emotional aspect and say, okay, no, like I can't do that. But at the end of the day, the most I kind of gives me understanding to kind of understand the situation and kind of know. And I think it works on both sides because, of course, there are other, behaviors of me that are they're like, what, I've never seen this before, or like, this is like a no go zone for me. So it's been a fair balance. But like I said, what he has written is written. If he really wants to make it work, he's definitely going to walk you through the situation. And I think the most has been a pillar in terms of walking me through how to deal with, these emotions as they come, how to, handle situations when they come, and how to overcome, some of them, and still keep our head in business and in that perspective to keep going. So yes, that's it.
Amen. Thank you for that. My next question is, are you in the truth? And if so, how did you awaken? How did the Most High awaken you?
For me, I think yes, I'm in the truth. When you grow up or you find yourself in certain situations, nobody has said anything to you, or probably you've not found anything, but within you don't really feel, you don't feel okay. You feel like there is still more to some of these things that I'm saying in terms of the church activities, in terms of how preachings are centered on certain perspective. There was something within me that really didn't feel right, and I grew up from the Catholic Church. And so growing up, when I got exposed to the charismatic way of, of service in terms of, you know, um, intense prayer, speaking in tongues and doing all those kind of, I'm like, okay, wait a minute. I'm not used to this, okay? And so it compelled me to read more about that and know how much, and then when I got to get some materials to read along that line, it was kind of, okay, I feel like this is, a little better than what, like the background that I'm coming from. So I got stuck into it. I became member of about two churches. But then still when I go to those churches, something doesn't really feel right. You look at the activities. What really stood out for me that was making me raise a lot of concern is that the pastors preach a certain way, but their members don't really practice what is preached, and the pastors don't really practice what they preach. And they kind of massage the message for a purpose. And all of these things kind of made me raise questions. And then, like, getting into history and then knowing who we truly are and all that, I'm like, okay, there is a lot more to this. So, on those patterns that the most I kind of, took me to know, like to do more research, and then I got awoken. And so, yes, I'm in the truth now, and I think that's one of the best turning point of my life that I really appreciate so much, to kind of see and know, that the way that we have been doing things is actually not it, and it was orchestrated and channeled, that we believe the way we believe, that we act the way we act, that we worship the way we worship for a purpose. And so, yeah.
Oh, awesome. Now you mentioned history, and I'm kind of curious as to know, and maybe other people might be curious to know. Did you grow up knowing the history of what happened as far as like the transatlantic slave trade and things like that? How much history did you know, and how big of a part did that play, in your growth?
That's a very good question, but I can talk about my experience. I don't know about people's experience. But yes, it's been taught in the schools system. But trust with me, they don't go deep. It's just shallow. And for some of us, we just read it as we were reading it. I can tell for me, I was not able to read any emotional meaning to it or cultural meaning to what happened in the Atlantic slave trade. I was just reading it for academic purposes. And so there was no click, in those perspectives. And I got so upset with myself so much that running through the school system and knowing, even reading that and being in Ghana, I didn't give myself the opportunity to go to some of these dungeons to experience it. And so when I grew up and began to do some researches about stuff and also realized that what they actually did to our people when they took them there, and skinning them using their skin for leather and, as meat and feeding babies to alligators and, picnics, all those kind of behind, Christmas trees and all that. I'm like, why didn't I even see this, whilst I was reading those things? Because it was on the surface level. And I'm sure that most youth here can attest to the fact that they just read it for academic purposes. They didn't really read, identical meanings into it, like cultural identity into it. They didn't really read emotional meanings into it. So it was kind of, just a regular thing. But if you do your own research for yourself and you read some of the stuff, some of the documentations that have been put out there, and yeah, it's just more than just reading. It's yeah.
Awesome. And so, with the diaspora, and you working with the diaspora, and you know their journey coming back, if you were to give the diaspora some advice, what advice would you give them as far as when they touch ground?
Ground. I think this is a very good question. And like I said earlier, I'm going to give you like the honest answer. I think number one is knowledge and mindset. Be very knowledgeable about the continent you're coming in, about the people you're coming to live among. People don't really know that we are part of them. Like, it's the same people. Like, you were just taken from us to that place. They get here and they see us as them and us. And so that really puts the two parties, it's not funny, even though I'm laughing, it put the two parties in two wide ranges. So everything thereof comes from that perspective. And so some treat the people here as just ordinary people instead of their brothers and sisters. And majority of people also here treat, diaspora that are coming as other people and not as brothers and sisters. So that alone is like what everything kind of spring from, the disunity. The unity is what they don't want to see. So they have programmed both parties to dislike each other and see each other as different people instead of one people. So if you're out there and you're a diaspora and you're coming here to Ghana or Africa, especially the West Coast, know that you were taken from here. And the people here are you. And you are them. Just that you were picked up and raised in a whole different environment with a whole different belief system and a whole different system that they put in place. Guess what? I always say this, that just as they were working on you to be who they want you to be, and for you not to know your identity and tap into your blessings in that perspective or your potentials, they didn't leave those who were here free. They were also working on them to rid them of their identity, rid them of their mindset, rid them of their culture, rid them of everything. And so they worked on this one that is here, and they also worked on the one that they took away. And so now these people are coming to meet, and instead of being aware that we are one, we see ourselves as two separate people. And I feel like all the frictions that are happening, within is birthing out of this. And so the mindset is what is important. Ghanaians here, I could only speak for Ghanaians and not other African countries because I'm a Ghanaian. And so Ghanaians here I think it's time that you see diasporans as one of you, that they are your brothers and sisters who were taken out from here to another continent, and now they are now finding their way back home. I think when that change, that mindset shift, there will be a lot more better treatment. There will be a lot more communism and, kind of a different experience when it comes to that. And diasporans who are coming, in Africa and to Ghana for that matter, Ghanaians are not any other people. They are your people. They are your brother. They are your sister. So if we are able to bridge this gap, I think there are lots of mighty things that are going to come out of that. So yes,
Amen.
yeah.
I think that's amazing. That was an awesome answer to that question. But my next question is, what do you see the future of Ghana with the diaspora? Like, how do you see the benefit of the diaspora here in Ghana, and possibly the collaboration between Ghanaians and the diaspora? Like,
Okay, so I see a lot of potential. Let me put it that way. I see a lot of vast potential for both parties if they are going to come together. What I think needs to be done is proper measures and systematic procedures to kind of channel these potentials. If not, something that looks like a good potential will end up being a chaos. One, systems from the government, that sort of protects each and every individual in terms of diasporans coming in and stuff. Systems to kind of bridge the gap, in that perspective. And much more massive education. So if those things are kind of achieved, I think massive growth potential. One, have the knowledge of the environment. Being a local Ghanaian, they have the knowledge of the soil that they are on. They have the knowledge of the environment, the trees and what it can do, the sun, and what it can do, medicinal purposes, agro product purposes. The other one have the skill, you know. So the diaspora, and most of them have the skill of turning some of these things into finished products, into mighty stuff, And so if these people come together, the one who know much about that particular tree, that particular soil, that particular raw material, and know, what it can do, and the other one that has the skill to turn it around and produce something, if they come together, that is what we are praying for. That has, like I said earlier, it's a massive potential, endless of the stuff that both can do. And at the end of the day, it's going to benefit both of us in a bigger perspective, benefit Ghana, benefit the diasporans that are coming in, and especially if they are coming to live. If I say benefit Ghana, then it means it's benefiting all of them, because now they become part and parcel of us as Ghanaians. So it will benefit, the entire country. Yeah.
awesome. And Moses, that is all of the questions that I have for you today. I want to say thank you for your openness and for your honesty. And family, if you want to hear more conversations like this, let us know. Let us know.
All right. So if you are new to this channel, here is Jezreel Talk. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell to get notified anytime we post new videos. And also, put in your comment section what has been your experiences, what have been your encounter with Ghanaians or a diasporan that is here. What are you looking to see? What collaborations are you looking to see? What changes are you looking to see? And put it in the comment section, and make sure you also share this video so that the broader community will be able to see such amazing information out there. Until we meet again,